Big show, loaded show, so let's get this thing going right now. Let's try and hit the hole here on DawgNation.com's Before the Hedges, kind of like the way Nate Frazier does, coming out of Modern Day High School in Santa Ana, California. This dude cannot wait to get to Athens. He's probably got a clock on his phone counting down the days. I think he's got 27 more days. Nate Frazier out in California, sir. How you doing tonight, man?
DawgNation, how y'all doing, man?
Nate.
27 days, man. Only 24 more days, man. It's coming.
24 days. You told me, what, June the 2nd? Is that when you're going to show, or is it earlier?
You know, June 2nd is when I get out there. June 2nd.
Nate, what have you been doing, man? I hear you've been getting swole. You've been working on track times. I think you told me 5'10", 204. What you look like right now? What are you working on right now?
Really, man, I'm just working on being the best me I possibly can, man, on and off the field, man, mentally and physically. That's really mainly what I'm working on to prepare myself when I get to the G.
How does it feel? I know you had a transition from Coach Dell, great coach, great mentor, great recruiter, now to Josh Crawford. I think I've caught on your social media, you've been doing some Zooms, and you got like all kinds of top secret playbooks somewhere in your possession, man. You got run game, you got perimeter, you got install. What's that been like getting to be coached over Zoom right now? Kind of like what it was like back in COVID.
It's really a great feeling, you know, to be able to get on campus, to have like a little head start of the playbook, knowing what you need to do and prepare yourself for the things that you need to know so you can get on the field as early as possible. So it's like a great feeling to have those plays, being able on my free time outside of school, outside of training, to be able to go over that every single day as possibly as I can so I can have a head start and be ready when I get there. So it's very good to have those plays and all that stuff, man. It's good.
What's Coach Josh like? What's Coach Crawford like? How's he similar or different from Dell?
I wouldn't really say different. I don't really compare people. You know, everybody is perfect and they're good in their own ways. You know, Coach Crawford's a great guy just as well as Coach McGee is a great guy as well. But you know, Coach Crawford, he's a great coach, man. He's like really driven. You can tell he loves the game and he pays attention closely to every single detail of the running back position. And he's very excited, you know, coming from Georgia Tech, then coming from I believe it was Georgia Tech, then coming from Georgia, you know, I'm not gonna say one of the best programs. I'm gonna say the best program in college football. You know, so he's excited just as well. I'm excited. I'm new, just he's new. So you know, it'll be great to get a fresh start from him, just as it's a fresh start for me. You know, us going over the process of our first year being at Georgia. So man, but Coach Crawford all around, he's a great person, man. He is a great person, a great family guy, just as Coach McGee was as well. You can tell he's very determined of the Georgia football program.
So I want to make sure you guys know about this to appreciate Nate for joining us. You can follow him on social media at NateUA1. I think it's Very Rare Nate on Instagram.
Yeah, Very Rare Nate on Instagram.
Yeah, you might have 2 or 3. You know, that's some people roll these days. Nate, I want to ask you, because let's go back to some history. Why was it Georgia? And I don't think people don't mind us telling the world now, but it was Georgia for a while before you committed and back in August, right? Tell me when the lightning bolt hits you and you're like, man, I just got to be a dog.
If you guys want me to be so honest, the first I give it the first 30 minutes to an hour when I stepped on the campus, like it was just a feeling. Walking in the stadium, just, you know, it's going to be 90,000 people action-packed. The history behind it, the coaches, you know, it felt like a second home. You know, it's honestly, it was probably like the first hour to 30 minutes in my head. I'm like, yeah, this is where I belong. Like, I felt bad because I would like communicate with coaches and other coaches and be like, yeah, yes, sir, coach, you know, this. But I knew deep down inside, I'm like, I'm not going to no other school, man. Like Georgia, it just felt like home the first visit. And I told Coach McGee that when he was there, I'm like, don't be surprised, Coach, if I give it a month or two that I just go, you know, release it to the public and stuff like that. But honestly, it was the first thing. It's just like everything was right. Besides football, if we're not talking football, academically, it's one of the hardest schools to get to into the country. You know, having that University of Georgia on your resume as well, you know, because a lot of athletes don't think about plan Bs. I'm a person that think about plan B. Of course, that's not my main option of a plan B. I always stick to my plan A because that's what I'm pushing forward to. But you always have to think about a plan B. And so having University of Georgia on your resume can get you a lot of places and open a lot of doors for you as well. So as far as the football part, it has a great academic part as well.
Nate, when was it that first visit? Was it like in April, March of last year? When was it?
I believe it was about April 16th, wow. Something like that. Yeah, wow. Yeah. It was pretty early, man. The 2023. It was quite early, man. It was early.
So my man, what's it been like watching them go through spring practice and G-Day? And you're just probably dying inside wanting to be there, right?
Sick. I'm sick. My stomach dropping, man. I'm just wishing. I went on a visit recently back in, I think it was January, and I'm just sitting there watching the practice, just knowing, like, if I would have graduated early, this would have been me right here. It hurts, but It's only a couple more days till I'm there, you know. And one thing I would say, like, I'm kind of, I wish I would have got on campus early, but I'm kind of grateful, you know, that I stayed back a little bit to enjoy a little bit more time with my family as much. Because, you know, me personally, I feel like if I would have left in January, I would have been fine. I would have still been fine. But it's, you know, it's always good to spend time with your loved ones more. You know, just take in those times that's probably never going to happen again, like prom and all type of stuff like that. So, you know, it's all good. It's okay.
How did high school track end up? Did you get 10.6, 10.5? I know you're wanting to go way low. How'd that work?
High school track, it went well. But one thing I would say, I took a break from high school track. Because I didn't want to risk anything happening. Me going into Georgia with no nicks, knacks, bruises, anything happening. So I just I cut it off. I cut track off. But it was for a good reason, for a good cause, though. Because I know I'm not going to be running track in college. I'm going to be strictly football. So I know I have to think outside the box and think for myself and, you know, and stuff like that. You know, make the best option for me. So I quit off track.
Nate, a few questions. I'm going to let people who got a question for Nate drop it in YouTube, drop it in Facebook. But I think one thing I want to know is two things. One, dude, you have a light about you. And it is, you know, I don't know how spiritual you are or whatever, but you can tell that somebody has touched you. And I mean, spiritually, like you've got God's light in front of you or something like that. Your story, I mean, when people meet you for the first time, like I saw you, like one thing, I do this a lot of years, man. And like when I see the All-Americans out in Texas, sometimes people are like, this is not for me. I'm out. Like they don't like crowds. They don't like people. But it looked like you were talking to, I don't know, every time somebody came up, it was like you were talking to Bo Jackson's kid or, you know, you were talking to like the richest man in the world's kid. It was like somebody's like, hey, let's get a picture. Do you mind if I get a picture? It's like, yeah, let's do that, man. Let's get one of those right now. Like, Nate, where does that come from, man? Because it is very rare in today's world.
Honestly, man, I'm a humble person. And I'm a very humble person. And me personally, I know the smallest things can go a very long way for people. And I've seen it happen. And I stick to being humble because me personally, I know where I come from. I know I was that kid wishing to get pictures with, you know, growing up watching USC football, wishing to get pictures with people like Marquise Lee and all these people that are doing great things. And it just gives you motivation. And it doesn't hurt if you have the time. It doesn't hurt to just make a person's day with something small as a picture, as an autograph, put a smile on a kid's face. You never know what that can do to people. And I got messages from people on Twitter and from people in my messages and on Instagram saying just the smallest thing as just giving a kid motivation or a word or just 2 to 5 minutes of your time. Just it made their day, or it made their kid go hard in school, go hard at practice, or you know, just the smallest stuff, and it doesn't hurt. It's not like it took my time away from nothing. And it's actually, I enjoy putting smiles on people's faces. Like, that's something that makes my day. Putting a smile on somebody else's face makes me smile. So I have no problem with it. I just got a good heart. I love making other people smile because it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, especially how the world is now. It's too much pain. It's too much hurt, too much trauma. You know, I just try to do the best I possibly could to put smiles on others' faces because it just doesn't hurt.
Nate, I got to talk to you about this. Like, I've been around. We've done probably 20 commitment videos for Georgia prospects. We did Kendall Milton's. We did a lot of them throughout the years. And I was very taken by your commitment video. And it was not just because of your narration. And if you guys don't know it, it is a little bit, and I don't want to Hollywood it up a little bit, but there are some threads of your story to Boys in the Hood, growing up in Compton, football star. There are some echoes of that in there, but first of all, I don't even know many people in the media know this, because it's my job to know everything about these young men. I did not know that Nate wrote his commitment video script out.
Oh, yeah.
And Nate, I've written for 25 years in my life, man. That was some very good writing. It was very genuine. It was on point. It was right there where it needed to be, and I felt that, man. Not only did I felt what you wrote, but I felt what you said and the way you said it. What do people need to know about that commitment video that shares your story?
Mainly, what people need to know about that video, I wanted it to be a story. I wanted it for people to feel it as a story. Like, everything I said, I wanted people to feel it. Like, just in a matter of it was a 4-minute video. I just wanted a 4-minute video of me saying a little bit of words, putting a couple of images in there, a couple of places where I grew up at, my grandma's homes, the Watts Towers. Where else did I go? I went to the Compton City Hall and stuff like that. Like, little small places like that to tell my story. Okay, this is where you grew up from. Everybody knows the pretty sides of, Los Angeles, California. Everybody knows the Hollywoods. Everybody knows the Venice beaches, the Laguna beaches. But people don't really know from the outsiders, people don't really know the dark side, like the Comptons and the Watts and the Westmonts and Los Angeles and stuff like that. So I just wanted people to know the story. Like, everybody from where I come from and from places that is bad and stuff like that, kids have different mindsets. People want to do different things, It's a lot of kids that don't have the resources to be able to do certain things. It's a lot of people that tried, but it just didn't work. But I just wanted people to know that, it's a pretty to the dark side, man. It's a pretty to the dark side. That's really all I wanted people to know, that it was a story from it. I didn't have it easy. I had to work every single day for it. Not work every single day, but I worked hard for, the things that I got in life now, and I know it's not much, but I work hard for it, man. That's all I really wanted people to know.
Speaking of working hard, we're going to talk to Nate for maybe 10 more minutes, but he's got to get to a workout. And Nate has taken this stuff very seriously. If you guys seen some of his social media posts, he's got the chains, like he's a junkyard dog working. And I guess that's what, Nate, you want to be in the very best shape of your life when you get to Georgia. How's that going so far?
It's going pretty good, man. So I've been, working on better things like meal prepping, my workouts, trying to make it more intense and stuff like that, high-level workouts and stuff like that. So it has been going pretty well. I've been trying to, develop myself more as a pro athlete and stuff like that already, even in high school still. But I know in a couple more days I'll be in college, but I've been trying to develop myself as a pro athlete now so I can be used to it already. My body can be used to it when I get to those next levels.
Little bit of info. Nate and I were talking before we jumped on live, and he was going to try to be 6, but 6 is taken by Dominic Lovett. And now 3, he's got his eyes on 3. So you Dog fans that are loving what Nate Frazier's rolling with and what he's all about, 3 might be the jersey he ends up copying when he gets to Athens, because, of course, 3 got vacated by Andrew Paul. So potentially there might be some upperclassmen going for that number. But, you know how it rolls. That's how Kirby rolls, man.
No, I know. Me personally, man, the number doesn't matter. It's just the logo in front of the jersey, man. Yep. You make your number. So whatever happens, it doesn't really matter. I'm just blessed and glad to be able to be playing in the Georgia uniform, man. I'm just blessed. So it doesn't matter, man.
Man, Nate could be wearing, 69.5. He could be wearing 33. He could be wearing 6. He could be wearing any number, and he's gonna make that jersey fly, because that guy's got a gear. He could be wearing anything, man, because he has that gear. So questions. I'm gonna let the people get at you. CK Emmett fan. These are some cool comments, man. You're already touching people's hearts. Nate, please promise us you won't go in the portal ever. There's one that says, Nate, he wants to know, what's your favorite movie and food? All the way from South Georgia, Randy Payne. You got one? What's your favorite movie, favorite food?
My favorite movie? That's a hard one. And my favorite food? That's a hard one. I would say my favorite movie. It's a movie called 3 Strikes. It's funny.
Wow.
I'd say that's probably my favorite movie. My favorite food, Oh God. Probably what? Chicken wings?
Yeah, man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with lemon
I
pepper
don't
wings.
know, man. It's a lot of food. I love food, so I don't really have an answer for that.
Lots of stuff here. Let me see. Let me hop on Facebook for a little bit. Tony Cox says, very impressive young man that had his head on right. Work hard and stay straight, Nate, and you'll be a huge success. This is one, I believe, from Randy Hall. He wants to know what degree you're going to start out trying to work for at UGA. Got a thought yet about what course of study?
I'm for sure going for my business degree.
Business degree. Man probably wants to own real estate and make his money work for him.
That's the big thing. I want to get my real estate license as well and try to get a minor in sports communication because I feel like I'm kind of good on the camera. I don't know. I used to be shy, but I feel like I'm doing pretty better now.
I feel like you're all right, man. I mean, you can run those 60-yard touchdowns for about 20 more years, but you'll be good at that too. Josh Armstrong says, this dude is explosive, home run every time he touches it, elite speed and quickness. His highlight tape is worth watching. Marshall Fleming says, I knew he was a talented running back, but he sounds like a great young man. Michael Sumner says, love his humbleness. Michael Sumner says, smart young man as well. This dude is fast. Can't wait to watch him between the hedges. Lots of questions coming in. Marshall Fleming says, I watched his game film, amazing back, but I love his style and mindset. Sounds like a great young man in a DGD. DGD, that's really good. I don't know if you know that, Nate, but
I figured out what it meant.
Yep.
I figured out what it meant. I used to always question myself, like, what does this mean? And I think it's like something that says HBFTD. I had to figure out what that meant. I didn't know. I had to search it up. I'm like, what is these people talking about? But I know what it means now. I know what both of those phrases mean.
Yep. There's a lot to get to learn with all these dog people down here in Athens. Let me see. Nate. I saw this earlier. I saw it in the chat. I just kind of flagged it. Somebody wanted to know, did you have a player you appreciated at Georgia growing up? Did you know a guy at Georgia that you like to watch play? Was there a favorite dog? I mean, there's a couple of, really big names. Some of them are California based, but was there anybody at Georgia you really watched a lot?
Watched a lot, like when I was younger or like around this time now?
No, it just could be anybody. I guess he wanted it. The question was, did you have a favorite player? Okay. But
if you guys want me to be, I think I watch DeAndre Swift highlights every single day.
Wow.
By sick edits, I think I watch those highlights every single day. Yeah, so if we talking about favorite player over the history, I know we had a lot of great backs, man. But some of those backs weren't able to get quality highlights on YouTube, so I can't go back and watch it. So I think most recently, probably the person, the running back. Don't take away from none of the other running backs. Trust me, I watched them too, man, because I'm trying to see how they became great and try to be the next one. But I think I watch DeAndre Swift highlights more than I watch any other running back highlights. Yeah, I watch Nick highlights, Sony highlights. I watch all our Georgia Herschel Walker highlights as well. I watch every single running back highlights that's been successful at the University of Georgia, and even the ones that weren't successful and still work. I guess successful still because being able to start at Georgia is successful to me personally. Everybody doesn't make it to the NFL, but still that's successful to me. But I watch every single running back I heard of, search it up on YouTube, see what I can watch them, man, because there's very special backs.
So I think one of the most common player parallels, guys like me in the business that evaluate players, they do drop the DeAndre Swift comparison to your game. So I'm sure you're fine with that, right? You don't mind that? You don't mind people saying that you got that type of DeAndre Swift style to your game?
I don't mind what style people say I have, man. It doesn't matter to me. I just like to, show it on the field.
How would you describe the way you run? How would you describe your style, your game?
How can I say this? I wouldn't say I play angry. I do play angry. I just say I run with a passion. I run with a purpose. I play with a purpose. I play like it's my last football game ever, or I play with a purpose. I say that's how I really describe my game. Just playing with a purpose, playing with a reason, and stuff like that. Playing the game because I love it as well, but playing the game because I know if I do everything right, if I play this game is hard. This would be a way I can be able to take care of my family, take care of my mother, my loved ones, my community, be able to provide for my community and stuff like that. Being able to make a change. I play with a big purpose.
Anybody on the team you're really close with that have been telling you about like what it's like so far as a Dawg? Who are you hearing from? Who are you talking to about what it's like already in Athens?
I talk to my boy Chauncey Bowens. And, like probably every day. I remember when I came up there, like I think this was about January or December or something like that. I came on a visit and Ryan was up there and he was like, bro, come in shape, bro. He's like, it's hard. I'm like, what? He's like, bro, come in shape, bro. Learn the playbook, bro. Learn whatever you could now. Like, it is not easy. I'm like, okay, that's what being the dog about. So, I heard from Chauncey, it's hard too, but it's fun, man. It's a process. That's mainly what I heard. Like, it's a process. It's fun, and it takes time. It's really a process. It's a marathon. As I say, it's this great person out here. I really watch a lot of stuff about, which is Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace to him. It's a marathon. He used to say that word a lot. It's a marathon. So it's really a marathon.
Man, I love Nipsey's stuff a lot, man. He had great stuff, man. Pay the cost, be the boss, all that stuff, man. California. Just keep a few more things, Nate. We've got a couple people asking more.
No, it's fine.
More questions. There's some people that are saying Eastbound Dog just says, God bless you, young man. Jerry Dawgs fan. He was the one that asked the good question about who was your favorite Georgia running back to watch. Some people have said, how are your pass protection skills right now? You got to do that or Kirby will get you. Those young backs, man, you got to be able to protect more than you got to run the rock.
I know. That's why in my highlight video, I made sure I put my pass protection in there because I know at that level, that's a very important thing. So one thing I can thank Modern Day for is like even at high school, I know it's a lot of high schools out there that really don't do pass protection in practice, like make it a thing that's very important. But I know at that level it's very important. In Modern Day, we had a whole entire 30-minute individual drill with running backs, linebackers, the whole offensive line, defensive line, specifically just working on gap schemes of pass protection. So I know I'm not perfect at all. I know I'm not saying I'm perfect. I know it's a lot of things I have to work on, especially with pass protection, because the linebackers in modern day high school in the Trinity League, we give them an average about 6'2", 205 to 220 pounds. Linebackers in the SEC, we give about an average like 6'4", 6'3", 240 to 250 pounds. So, and they're much faster too. So it's a lot I got to work on. Like technique wise to make it easier for me, because usually I say like I was okay in pass protection. I just try to like kind of out-muscle people because I was like as strong as a linebacker that I'm doing pass protection on, but I know it's a whole different ballgame, and I just got to do it the smartest way possible and the most technical way possible for it to be as easy as me in pass protection. The good thing is though, with the offensive lineman we probably in the receivers we only going to need about, I give it 5 seconds, 3 seconds max that I'm going to be having to block that 6'5", 6'4", 250 to 60 pound linebacker. So, yeah.
Nate, I got one quick one for you. Excuse me. So what's it going to be like when you get to Georgia in the jersey, on the field? You'll be playing Clemson your first game as a Dog. It won't actually be in Sanford. It will be in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Like, what's it going to be like when you're finally there playing for the Dogs?
It's going to be crazy, man. I'll probably start crying in the middle of the stadium because I'll be like, it's really here. Like, it's going to be crazy. I think I'm going to be just as excited. I think it's going to really be crazy when it's time that I go out to my first practice up there at Georgia, and I just put on a helmet, and then hearing Kirby on the microphone just going off saying Nate first, saying something like Coach Kirby probably the funniest coach I ever seen in my life. That's probably gonna be crazy, but I think it's gonna be great to play in the Mercedes Stadium. But I know that first game in the Sanford Stadium, seeing all the fans going wild and hearing the kickoff and all the chants and all that stuff. My mom ran, in the crowd. My people back home texting me good luck and all that stuff. Like, I'm so excited, man. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy. I'm so excited. it's gonna feel unreal for sure. I'm gonna have to slap myself a couple of times to make sure I'm not dreaming and I'm really here. But it's gonna be crazy, man.
Nate, you kind of gave it up away a little bit, but like I believe in this life, we don't get anywhere on our own. For you, who do you have to thank to be amid all these blessings that are going to come down for you right now in your life? Who do you have to thank for raising you up and maybe being the young man you are today?
First of all, I want to thank this man right here. I want to thank God first. Thank God first, man. But my mom, you know, my father, people that played pivotal roles, you know, just not it's not even, you know, blood related people, you know, it's just anybody that helped me with the smallest things, from a car ride to a mental talk, and just really everybody who's played a role, coaches, you know, really everybody that's been here with me my whole way through, or from 2 years to 1 year. I just want to thank everybody, you know, like, because you never, like I said, you never know what a talk or just simple things can do, man. I want to thank everybody that's been with me through this whole process, man. A lot of people. There's too many names to name, but, you know, family, coaches, friends, you know, I don't want to say no names. I don't want nobody feeling left out and thinking I forgot about it. That's not the case. But, you know, everybody that's, you know, they know who they are.
Wow. One last parting thought. Dro Suervo Chavez Jr. First of all, if that's your real name, props to you, man. Dro Suervo Chavez Jr. You got some swag on that name. You got some spice on that name. But he simply says, we can't lose with young men like this. And he's, of course, he's talking about Georgia. And I think most of you guys that that are watching tonight and hanging out with us and Nate tonight would appreciate that. I got one quick story. Nate, who says he wants to be in sports communications, let me brag on him a little bit, because he has a teammate in modern day called Brock. They call him Baby Brock, but it's Mark Bowman. He's a 2027 tight end. The man Hartley really wants him to be a Dawg already. He's got major game, great football player, great skills. He looks like he would be a really good 2025 tight end right now, and he's a 2027. But never happened to me before in my media career, and this kind of shows where Nate's all about. I said, hey, man, what's the deal with – I just wanted a quote. He's your teammate. He was your freshman. He caught like 4 touchdowns. He played really well. He already had a Georgia offer. And I said, hey, what's the deal with Mark? And this fella right here, Nouveau, Swerve, or whatever, Nate Frazier does a voice texts it back to me, and it is a perfect minute, 20-second soundbite about all the things that these dog people down here in Georgia need to know about Mark Baby Brock Bowman, who wears number 19 for modern day. Now, I'll never forget that. It's very much the little things, like you said earlier, the little things. How you do anything is how you do everything, and that's kind of a good snapshot of Nate Frazier. Nate, we could go a whole hour, probably should have. We got a loaded show. Nate, all I'm going to say is thank you. Thanks for joining us. Can't wait to see you in Athens. And before we let you go, you got a message for all these Dawg fans out there, a message for DawgNation?
DawgNation is going to be a different result from last year to this year, man. That's all I'm going to say. But, you know, it's all in God's hands. And I can't wait to get a chance to see all you guys in the stadium, get a chance to have conversations with you guys. And I just want to get a big Go Dogs in the chat.
Awesome. Nate Frazier, buddy, take it easy, man. I got to run like Nate Frazier down the sideline to get this show going. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Jeff.
Wow.